Wow. I really don't deserve that kind of welcome, particularly because my Spanish is non-existent, so I'm going to have to apologize for that up front. But as a way to give back to my audience that I already love so much, I always start with video. I always start with songs and dance. It's going to be a regular party. Are you ready? All right, let's go. All right, I'm going to start with this. How many of you have seen this before? If you haven't, you're in for a treat. This is a YouTube video created by an artist called Cuddy Man. And the video itself is called Mother of All Funk Chords. Just take a look, and then I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards, and then I'll introduce my talk, and we'll be on our way. Okay?
Well, what can I do? You can play that 16th note groove just straight. Go on. You'll be amazed.
Okay.
All right.
More than one guitar part.
Okay.
Somebody playing single notes, somebody playing chords, and they'll mix them together.
Okay. And let's just pick the mother of all funk chords. Let's pick a ninth chord.
Why would I show that video? It's a YouTube video, it's YouTube open content. I mean, we'll talk about that. But why would I show that video? What's going on? Does anyone get a sense of what's going on there? I mean, what's crazy about that video is people put themselves out on the web, playing all these different instruments, singing, playing harmonica. We see little kids dancing. But what happened? It took one person to go through the web for all this open access the beginning. I have a site set up for any of you who are hooked up right now. It's called Blogfesores. I hope I pronounced that right. .umwblogs.org. I'm going to actually do a little magic trick in about 10 or 15 minutes, and it's going to happen there. So if you have a website, if you have access to the internet, you can go see everything I'm doing here and all my resources. If you don't, write this down, because everything I talk about today here will be available on this site as a kind of resource site. So that's just to let you know. Okay, everyone have that? Blogfesores.umwblogs.org. If you need it, it will be there. And I'll put it up at the end of the presentation again in case you missed it. Okay, here I am. La revolución no se televisada, forgive me, se sindicada. I have a lot of text in Spanish for you, just in case my English, I talk fast, I'm going to slow it down, but just in case. So what do I mean by this? For me, syndication is the key. Syndication is the way to imagine open education, no matter what platform we use. Now, why would I say that? Well, let me think about this in terms of, I use a very strong language. I use the language of revolution, right? And a lot of people, especially when I use this language on my blog all the time, they don't like it. A lot of people talk to me as, this is a way of really kind of fragmenting people. You talk about revolution that, revolution this. But we cannot deny that we are in an information revolution right now. That is undeniable. Look at what's happening to newspapers. What happens when the Chicago Tribune goes down, goes bankrupt? How do we imagine that? When New York Times may be in some serious trouble, you know, the paper of record. Why is that happening? Is that just kind of, you know, something that happened that no one could imagine? Why is the music industry in such an uproar? Why is the movie industry in such an uproar? Well, I think because we have a revolution going on. It's a revolution of data. It's a revolution of sharing. And it's a revolution premised upon people. Premised upon the idea that we have access and can share. The middleman in some ways is in a crisis. And a lot of it is because of these tools. So let me start with another video. How many of you watched the series, I don't know if you have, on HBO, John Adams? No? All right. If you haven't, John Adams, it's a 13-part series on HBO. And Thomas Jefferson has one small little quote in there that actually gets to the point here. So let me put this up. And this may need to be a little bit louder.
Expect that any constitutional document that emerges from Philadelphia will be as compromised as our Declaration of Independence. I'm increasingly persuaded that the earth belongs exclusively to the living, and that one generation has no more right to bind another to its laws